One big item on the ballot next week will be the Constitutional Convention. If you vote yes, that means you are in favor of a convention which could allow delegates to take a hard look at the state constitution. If you vote no, though, that means you think constitutional amendments should be left to the legislature. Tonight, 2 on Your Side's Danny Spiewak takes us through the history of the Constitutional Convention and what it tells us about next week's vote.
Dating back to the 18th century, New York has held 9 constitutional conventions. The 1821 convention created a board to shape Erie Canal policy. The 1894 convention led to the Forever Wild provision that protects the Adirondacks and the Catskills from development. And the 1938 convention, out of the shadow of the Great Depression, put social welfare in the state constitution to help the needy. If you ask UB law professor James Gardner, those are all reasons to vote yes next week for another constitutional convention.
There are things that we need to talk about in this state. We need to have a conversation about our government, and not just a conversation that's aimed at complaining about the way things are, but a conversation that's aimed at figuring out how we can improve things. And a convention will do that.
Like other proponents, Gardner says a convention could address ethics and state house corruption. But conventions haven't always led to change.
All the people with vote no signs on their lawns around Western New York could actually look to history to make a point. The last time there was a constitutional convention in 1967, the delegates put together a proposal that went to the voters, but the voters turned it down.
With Nelson Rockefeller looking on as governor, the delegates offered a plan that would have shortened the Constitution and repealed an amendment that banned public aid to Catholic schools, among other things. But the voters rejected it by a nearly 3-to-1 margin. Mike Dealey of the New York State United Teachers recalls that the 1967 convention cost taxpayers millions.
They came up with stuff that the voters didn't want, and we spent all that money and time to get nothing out of it.
Groups like NYSET estimate the next constitutional convention could cost hundreds of millions of dollars, although that dollar figure has been vigorously disputed.
We believe that it's a waste of money. We already have a process to change the Constitution.
But Gardner says a convention could be effective even if voters don't ultimately approve the proposal.
It will focus the public's attention on the specific problems that we have, the causes of those problems, and these are important things for people to become aware of.
Only if they decide they want to. Danny Spiewak, Channel 2 News.
And 2 on Your Side is committed to giving you as much information as possible about Proposal 1 before you vote next Tuesday. That proposal asks voters if there should be a state constitutional convention. We have expanded coverage for you on our WGRZ app. Just look for the Constitutional Convention section. In addition,